Por favor, manténgase alejado de las puertas. Please stand clear of the doors.
Do they not play that anymore? I feel like the last time we were riding the monorails, they didn't play that.
I
Is that a
wasn't
thing,
there. I
or-
wasn't there with you last time.
Yeah,
No way.
I don't know. We'll have to look into that.
My friend made me a shirt that said that one time with a picture of the monorail under
Yeah,
it. Still,
because you love that.
yeah, I love it.
Is there any reason behind that?
I think it's just nostalgia. And like the voice says it, so like just it's kind of fluidly and
I was gonna say there has to be more to it than nostalgia, because then "Please stand clear of the doors" would be something that you love, but you don't care about that.
please stand clear of the doors. And then the Spanish is just so smooth.
Well, that was a lot more fun of just an intro to talking than I had in mind.
We should turn that into a chant for the U.S. soccer team, since we love chanting in Spanish, and all our Spanish chants suck.
I'm curious how you're gonna spin that one.
I don't care. It just is better than all the other chants. Please stay. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But neither do our Spanish chants.
Yeah. Dude, speaking of the U.S. men's team, though, the under-20s at least,
Yeah,
kicking absolute butt right now.
they were.
In the... Oh, did they lose?
Yeah, they just lost yesterday.
Oh.
Sunday.
Dude, that
yesterday.
sucks. Everything sucks. Basketball sucks. Michigan basketball sucks. The Pistons are drafting 5th, dude. When they had the best odds of winning the number 1 pick in the lottery, dude. Everything sucks.
What are you referencing?
You ever see that video of the guy who's like, I got some banana bread at work today, dude? And my mom's always said, you just gotta wait for good things to happen, and good things will happen. And today I got some banana bread at work today, dude.
Have you seen
Heck
that, Brad?
yeah. You've never seen that?
I've never seen that either.
But then he starts going off. He's like, I can't remember exactly how it
about
goes,
everything
but
sucking?
things that suck. Like taxation? Heck no. Like going into work on a Saturday? Heck no. But banana bread, dude?
He's right.
Yeah.
If we were ever
Banana
to
bread's
rank
awesome.
breads, banana bread is
Can't believe
one
you
of
never
my
heard that. I'll
favorites.
play it for you.
Okay.
It's fun.
Was that our intro?
I don't know.
I'm fine with it being. We covered everything, and
I don't have anything
your
else
sucks
to
rant.
I don't have anything else to say. Hi everyone.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. What a way to welcome you back into our lives. It has been a hot, juicy minute since we've spoken to y'all.
We finally got the Football Frenemies episode out that Brandon and Cody Thomas did. It was a little delayed, but it was still money content. Those guys know college football better than anybody, and it's very entertaining to listen to. And they are opposite fans, so which makes it even more fun.
Yeah, I
Cody
love
Thomas, if you've listened to us at all, you know he's a big Ohio State fan, and Brandon, obviously, Michigan fan. And them talking college football is very entertaining. So, Brandon, good job on that one. I really enjoy when you guys do that.
Well, thanks.
You're welcome.
We're going to hopefully record again this week, so send us any recommendations or things you want to hear.
Love it. Do you guys... Well, first, just before we get into anything, I just wanted to tell you guys, I did some research on... I have a Dynasty fantasy team, and Cody showed me how to look back at your old rosters.
Oh, no.
And so we drafted in this Dynasty that I was in 2020. So we drafted 30 players because of COVID. And now our rosters are whittled down to 24. But when it was 30, from that roster till now, I have 7 players remaining from my first roster I drafted.
Did you ever get a number
Did you
on...
draft that bad, or did you release good players?
Nope. It was that bad. I could read off the names, and I just don't want to because it's really embarrassing.
Yeah, I thought you were going to, and I was like, oh, man, you're just going right for it. Because I was hoping you were going to give us a number of how many are still active in the NFL. Because that number is actually staggeringly low.
I just didn't understand Dynasty drafting very well at the time. That was my first ever Dynasty league. And I drafted some old heads. Like, my first pick was Ezekiel Elliott. Uh,
And you also thought, I think, that like, we're probably not going to do it that many years, even though you say dynasty.
I wasn't thinking long term very well, and I was thinking like as these guys get old, like maybe I'll have a good team this year, and I'll just have that bragging rights. Like I was just playing to win, and I didn't. My team was bad year one, and so my roster now I kind of like. I'm kind of proud of the rebuild, but I'm just going for the rebuilder award. But I thought you'd appreciate that 77% of my roster is gone, and probably 60% of them aren't in the NFL anymore.
Yeah, he read me the names, and it was something to behold. I could not believe what I was hearing.
Yeah,
It's a good thing that it's fantasy football, because if you were a GM, you would not be in charge of the rebuild.
and you know what? If I looked back and saw the roster I put together as a GM, I shouldn't be in charge of the rebuild because it was that bad.
But he'd be the newest addition to the fired head coaches / GMs list, and he'd be living at large.
Hey,
True.
He's just trying to speed up that process.
if enough people hear this and want to see my my roster from year one, I'm willing to
Subscribe to the
grin
Patreon.
through the embarrassment. So join our Discord. If anybody asks for it, I will post it. So unless your name's Jaron, because Jaron's really good at calling me out on these things.
I was just thinking, like, Jaron will ask for it. You're just guaranteeing that you have to put it in the Discord.
So it has to be someone other than Jaron. But that might be a good segue because we've got a call, and guess who it's from?
Karen.
It is from Karen. The great part is in the transcripts of the call, it does say Karen. And I appreciate that. So let's go into the call and kind of get right into it.
Good evening, Jones boys. This is Karen. I told you I had a question for you, and here it is. So, I am getting a new puppy soon, and I'm looking for some names. I decided I'm going to name it after something from the greatest trilogy of movies ever created. That is Lord of the Rings. So, what would be your suggestion to name this dog? It is a male. It will be mostly white in fur. It will be a Great Pyrenees Anatolian Shepherd mix.
Beautiful.
And then the other thing is, I have naming rights to this. My wife named our first dog, and I'll be naming this one.
Nice.
I still have to convince her that it's a good name. So what would be your suggestion to get her on board? Would you tell her it's a Lord of the Rings name, or would you just try to roll it off and go with it? Anyways, looking forward to the pod. You guys have a great night. Bye.
It's got to be Bjorn, right?
You came to the right people, Jaron, because we did this with our family dog name. Not Lord of the Rings, but our family dog name is Jayla. And that name comes from one of the new Star Trek movies. That alien girl, her name's Jayla. And we really liked the name, and we thought, there's no way our mom and sister are going to go for this. And so we didn't tell him right away that it was from Star Trek. I said Star Wars earlier, I think. Woof, that's a no-no. Sorry, everyone. But they went with it. And then we told them it was from Star Trek, and they liked the name enough. They still went with it. So I think I would suggest trying to just push the name first, but that's going to be hard because Lord of the Rings has some pretty unique names. Your wife's probably not going to think you just pulled that out of your just name bank. So, you guys got a good recommendation to go with first?
Yeah, first thing I thought of was Bjorn, who is going to be somebody Brandon is a bit more familiar with. I don't think he shows up in like the mainstream movies.
That's the Hobbit, though, so he might be looking for only Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but even though the Lord of the Rings trilogy shouldn't even be mentioned in the same sentence as the Hobbit, it's still from one of the greatest franchises of all time. So I think that's something he could still appreciate. But Bjorn was a skin changer, was a man, but could also take the shape of a giant bear. Sounds like this is going to be a pretty beastly dog, at least in size. So I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, he said it was a
Great Pyrenees.
Yeah,
and there's a shepherd in there.
I don't remember what the second one was, but sounds like a pretty dog. He said big and white.
Yeah, he did say white.
It's maybe the hand of Saruman.
You came to the right people, Jaron. What if Brandon just agreed? 2 out of 3. Name your dog the Hand of Saruman. And Rachel can't say
Saruman.
no. Saruman.
Saruman was the highest in the race of the Istari, so I don't think you can argue from a power level with the name Saruman.
Maybe a white wizard.
Gandalf?
Just Gandalf. That would be amazing to have a dog named Gandalf. I am honestly on board with that.
I actually really
Gandalf
like Gandalf.
is a great name. Holy crap. Okay, Jaron, if you don't do Gandalf, I'm going to name a dog Gandalf. That's awesome. Brandon, what was the name of that gumball face orc from Lord of the Rings 3 that I never knew his name? Gothmog. Okay, it's not as cool as Gandalf. I just like calling him gumball face.
Also, I don't think you want to name your dog after the gumball face orc.
I was more just curious, and I like calling him the gumball face orc. Gandalf, that's great.
You could go easy with Bilbo or Baggins. Jaron has been to Hobbitown, the real one.
You know, you could just go Samwise. Just the best friend, the best companion possible.
Yeah, I like
the
I
most
like
loyalist of boys. Or Gamgee.
Lembas bread.
Trav, you're just batting 1,000 right now, dude.
Maybe 200. Call me Torkelson.
You said the dog was mostly white.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to Gondor, the entire city is like, I don't know if it's marble, but the whole city is white.
Yeah.
And that great big tower, the tallest tower in Gondor in Minas Tirith, is the Great White Tower of Ecthelion.
Ecthelion.
I think Ecthelion has a great powerful name for a big Great Pyrenees dog. So
Ecthelion, I feel, has some middle name power.
Yeah,
Gandalf,
for sure.
Ecthelion, Mallow.
Oh my gosh. Jaron, we nailed it.
It's pretty basic, but I think Gandalf is a really good name for a dog.
Should it be like a hyphenated name, like Ecthelion, Hand of Sauron, or Saruman?
Does the tree there have a name?
Nimloth.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a very good dog name, though.
Yeah, if you're Tick Daddy, you can just go with Nimrod.
I can't really think of any other white themed names from Lord of the Rings. If you gave me some time to actually, work at it, because I didn't hear this until you played it, so it kind of catch me off guard. But I do really like Gandalf, and Ecthelion doesn't really roll off the tongue, but I think you could get used to it. I mean, Jayla,
it's perfect for when you're mad.
It's kind of a weird name, and now it's like I can't picture our dog being named anything else. So
Gandalf, Ecthelion, Mallow, that's awesome. I can just picture Jaron yelling at his dog to come inside.
Could you shorten it to Ecthi? I don't know if it'd work, but I don't think you're going to say Ecthelion.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to say Ecthelion every time.
Ecthelion is when he's in trouble, and Ecthi is the cute name.
You could shorten Gandalf.
Ecthi is short for
Gandy.
Ecthelion.
Gandy.
Gandy's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, Gandy's kind of a cool name.
But you think Taylor's cat, Aurora. Nobody ever calls it Aurora. It became Rory.
It's Rory. 100%.
So if you have a longer name like that,
you got options.
You have to have a shortened option too.
Yeah. What were the?
He said it was a boy, right?
Yes.
What were the wolf? Not they were the things that they wrote. That was
wargs.
Wargs. Yeah, that doesn't work. Well, Jaron, I think we gave you some things to work with there. I like it a lot. So, I'm excited to hear what you go with.
What about the guy from Rohan who was the writer, Eomer?
Honestly, Rohan is a dope name.
Yeah, Rohan also all white people. There's no diversity in Rohan, and it's a white dog, so Rohan could be a sick name. And also, I like Eomir.
I mean, it's kind of historically accurate, but yeah, you're right.
Historically accurate? What are you talking about? It's Middle Earth. I don't know what it was like in Middle Earth.
Well, it's like loosely based on certain time periods, though. Like, it's not just all its own thing.
Rohan?
I really don't know, what the racial diversity was of Rohan and the Third Age, personally.
All right, well,
but
you missed what I was saying, but I feel like this isn't an important sticking point. Anyways,
that would be a fun paper to write in like a creative writing class, or you could write your doctorate on it. The
what should have been the
not should have. No, never talk should have when you talk percentages of nationalities, because then you're trickling into hate.
What if I'm arguing in terms of adding more minorities? Then I could say should.
Yeah, if you're arguing for more minorities, that's always okay. All right,
good. So
Grima Wormtongue?
No.
Honestly, if you want your dog to be the coolest dog, you probably should just name it Aragorn. Because he's probably one of the greatest characters of all time.
What's Aragorn's like cool name?
Strider.
Strider actually is kind of a dope dog name.
Even Gandalf has a cooler name, Mithrandir.
Yeah.
Man, Gandalf has so many names. Like, go with Gandalf and you can call your dog whatever you want. Gandhi, Mithrandir.
The prancing pony.
Oh, Gandalf's other name is Elisar.
What? I didn't even know that one.
What's Gandalf's white horse's name?
We can find that.
Me. No, don't tell me. I gotta get this.
I won't tell you.
Yeah, Brandon.
Oh, you should get this.
I know it's just
Shadowfax.
Yeah.
Oh,
Trev,
let's go.
Trev got it.
Let's go. I'm really proud of that one because at Brandon's wedding, the night before the wedding, we're all sitting around eating, and Brandon and Tooltime Thomas are just the amount of Lord of the Rings knowledge they were bouncing back and forth off of each other, and Star Wars, but it was amazing.
They were having their own conversation of their own. We were just watching them. Our buddy Ben was sitting next to us, and Ben's like a self-proclaimed nerd, and he just looks at us. He's like, "It's not often I feel out-nerded, but I'm not tracking a thing what they're saying right now." It was awesome.
That was a big victory for me right there in the nerd kingdom of Joneses, so I might hang a pennant for that one.
I wouldn't have even got there on my own. Like, I looked it up and I was like, oh yeah, but that was good pull.
Thank you.
So, I was looking up other names for Gandalf, if that doesn't hit. I really like that one of his other names is Stormcrow.
Oh, yeah. Stormcrow's a great name.
Stormcrow.
So, I love that personally, but I don't know if you want to name your dog Stormcrow, but I think we got some options.
Yep.
Which is good. Also,
Sting.
yeah, Shadowfax is a baller name for a white horse, which you're going to have a big white dog, so it's a good option.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. All right, let's get to sports now. What's first on the docket code?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the Pistons, kind of a roller coaster of emotions with them going on. We had the NBA draft, as I mentioned, had the best odds, or tied for best odds to secure the number one overall pick. Ended up with the 5th overall pick, when there are maybe 3 players that you want to... I mean, there's some good players, but there's 3 of note, really. Pistons, once again, find themselves on the outside. I say that we did get the number one overall pick with Cade. So it's like, it's hard to say it's rigged, but man, it just feels like another just slap in the face to Detroit fans. But then, not long after, Pistons hire Monty Williams to be the head coach for the Detroit Pistons. Definitely a turn for the better.
Yeah.
Something that I did not see coming. I know that he was somebody that they were pursuing for a long while, but he was anticipating taking a year off, and the Pistons just said, hey, what if we gave you all the money in Detroit? And he said, nah, all right.
All right. I don't need a year off, I guess.
Yeah, so pretty big news there. That's a huge hire.
What was the guy's name? Kevin Ollie that they were going after before him? Was not excited about that. Where's Kevin Ollie right now? Is he at Overtime Elite?
Yeah, that's where he's coming out of.
I don't trust. That's one of the things that makes picking at 5 bad, like painful too, is if you're playing at Overtime Elite, like I just have this lack of trust. Like, it's a fake league. I'm sorry if you're a fan. There's a lot of talent in it. A ton of talent. But you know where there's also a lot of talent? The Globetrotters games. I just don't trust it as being
Generals.
solid basketball. A Generals jersey would be dope to have. But yeah, I don't trust Overtime Elite. A coach from them doesn't excite me. I know Ollie's done some things good, other places, UConn, whatnot, but the guys we're looking at potentially at 5 might be from
the Twins.
Overtime Elite, yeah. And they don't excite me much yet.
You can find highlights that'll make most players look pretty decent, but I've seen low-light compilations put together because there's already, like, people are aware there's a stigma if you're going to be coming from Overtime Elite. And so they've put that out there for people to see, and there's some bad-looking clips from some of these players. And it just makes you think, like, will they be able to actually succeed in the NBA? Certainly not something you want to take a massive swing on when you have a top 5 pick. I mean, I know it's 5, and that's something I say like a negative thing, but it's also something you don't want to waste either.
When is the draft's coming up fairly soon, isn't it? Like in weeks. I can't remember exactly when it's coming, but when it does,
It's going to be after the finals.
We'll give a
soon
more
after.
in-depth dig into who we'd like to see at 5 when it gets a little bit closer, but maybe not because Brandon's not excited
I will
about
not. You two can carry. I am sick over the Pistons getting literally the furthest down pick they could possibly get.
Here we are.
I want to go back. Cody, in his little intro there, says, well, maybe the lottery's not rigged because the Pistons, they got number 1 with Cade, and that's why we should just be happy with our scraps.
I didn't say that.
I'm putting words in your mouth, Cody.
Okay.
Okay?
Go ahead.
Yeah, just putting words in your mouth.
Go on. My bad.
Let me do this.
Go.
I'm upset. Here's the thing. I have heard that argument that, like, all right, you did win the lottery. If you were the NBA, would you rig the lottery every year? Or would you only do it specific years when you have a generational prospect that has been compared to... There are people that were saying that they would... Honestly, which I disagree with this premise, but there are people that are big wigs that are saying that they would have taken what's his face that I don't even care about anymore. I hope he's. No, I'm not gonna say bad things about him. Okay,
Do it, Bran.
Do it.
Do it.
So,
Do it.
I don't want to wish a poor career on anyone, but the Spurs, the Spurs
Do it for the views.
go. How do the Spurs go from Tim Duncan now to Wembanyama?
Well, go back one more. David Robinson
one more.
to Tim Duncan
David
to
Robinson.
Wembanyama.
They literally just have the best center every single generation, and
Yeah.
it is intentional. Okay, they want Popovich to have his superstar. If you go back years where there's not a Wembanyama or there's not a LeBron James. What I was trying to say earlier before I got more upset, there was people saying that they would take Wembanyama as a prospect over LeBron as a prospect when they were coming out into the draft. Which, first of all, I do think is insane because of LeBron's body type.
Hindsight?
No, not hindsight. Although, obviously, yeah, LeBron has arguments for being the greatest of all time. But just as looking at prospects, I would trust a LeBron's body type to hold up for 10, 15, 20 years rather than I don't think Wembanyama is going to be nearly as durable. But I still think he's got best player in the NBA upside. So I understand because he's 7'5". He can shoot threes. He can dribble. He can pass. He can literally do everything that a point guard does. And he also blocks shots, obviously, because he's taller than the basketball hoop.
Is he 7'5", or is he 7'2", or 7'4"?
Have you seen pictures of him standing next to Rudy Gobert and like other 7-footers?
Yeah, he's taller, but nobody actually knows. He has a different reported height in every single...
I don't care about the numbers. When he's standing next to these people,
Yeah.
he is
he
way bigger than them.
I actually don't care
There's
about the
a
height. I
photo-
care about the arms. And he's a pterodactyl. He stretches so
All right,
far.
you try to fight a pterodactyl. It'll kill you.
Yeah,
I was
he
saying it as a positive
thing.
Oh, I thought you were like, because he's like all bony.
No.
There's a photo of Wemby and Zach Edey and
Yes.
our Jaden Ivey. And he actually is definitely an inch or two taller than Zach Edey, who is listed at 7'4". So when I saw that photo, I was like, oh, Wemby's 7'6".
Yeah. That picture was crazy.
That's just it. Nobody knows.
But it's provocative.
So
It is.
all we know is
Gets
he
the people
is
going.
freaking tall. He is very tall. He's very athletic. He makes freak plays. I'm talking more about Wembanyama than I want to. The point is, the NBA is not going to let a possible best player in the NBA go to a smaller market team. For whatever reason, the powers that be in the NBA, in the NHL, in the NFL, in the MLB hate Detroit. I don't know why, because Detroit is a great sports city, but they hate him. And good things are not allowed to happen to our franchises. So, yes, I fully believe that Victor Wembanyama was never going to end up in Detroit. And I'll fight you on it.
I don't feel like fighting you right now. I like the energy.
I mean,
So
I'll
just
fight
leave
you a
it.
little bit. Because this has been something that people claim a lot. Because we don't really see it happen, right? They just present what the results were. And because of that, they hire a law firm to oversee the whole process. They have a representative from every team in the room, and they record it. I'm not sure where the video is. Apparently, they release it. I haven't watched it because, I didn't want to talk about this. I'm still upset about this. But I haven't found the video yet. So, you can hang on to that. But I don't know what
The
to
shadows
say.
are off. The shadows are off.
Speaking of shadows being off, I've went down the rabbit hole of the International Space Station videos being fake lately.
What?
And I don't believe it, but there's definitely harnesses and things that they grab that I have a hard time explaining, so look into it.
Wouldn't you need a harness to, pull around in 0G?
It could be as easy as that. I literally didn't dig into it, and always at face value, those claims are like, oh yeah, that doesn't make sense, and then it's really easily explained away. So you're probably right.
Well, I would just think, what would happen if you were trying to go somewhere and you accidentally end up, where you can't reach a wall or, anything to push, and so you're just stuck there until someone comes along oh, Jimmy got stuck in the middle of the tunnel. What an idiot.
Yeah, I wonder how easy it is to get stuck if you were just floating around.
Because if you can't swim, there's nothing to push against.
Huh. Anyways, picking five sucks.
I can't find the video. Who knows? Who knows, really?
They say there's a video, so the people who...
Do we know who these representatives from each team are? I don't.
So I actually have seen the video.
Oh. I love you for that, Brandon.
There's still ways that you could, rig it. Just because they're able to, make ping pong balls go, we don't get to see what teams have what numbers. The only thing we can see is he has a little jug, a jug that the ping pong balls go in, and he pushes a button, and the ping pong balls fly up, and then he pulls it out, and then they read the number out. But you don't have, the codes that they correspond to.
So it could still be rigged somehow.
Yeah, maybe I'm just dumb. That's probably it. But I was reading into just like how they decide it, because I didn't really know quite as much prior to this draft of how they actually determine it and the different probabilities and all that, and how each team has so many different numbers. It all just seemed like it was like way more complicated than it needed to be. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
I think that's intentional.
Yeah, maybe.
That's why pass interference, like there's so many rules like that in pro sports. Charge. There's so many rules that are, you could call it either way. It's complicated, ambiguous,
allows you control.
allows control.
So
Aliens.
The
Holding.
reason I'm
Look at the Super Bowl. That holding.
frustrated about this, I would be more likely to
Why don't you watch
upset.
sports?
Getting upset.
accept all this.
Why'd you mention the Super Bowl?
I'm not just talking about the Pistons, because the other lottery system is the NHL, and the Red Wings have been in a rebuild for like going on a decade almost.
Yeah.
And during that time, they've had very poor records, obviously, and they have not moved up a draft spot. In fact, they've lost the most spots of any team in the NHL. And this is a team that should be getting some benefit of the doubt. It's an original six team, and this year, wouldn't you know it,
One of the
there's a
greatest
generational
sports
prospect.
jerseys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a generational prospect at number one, and it would be the kind of guy that could jumpstart a franchise like Detroit. Well, the Chicago Blackhawks, who have struggled for all of 1 year, win the lottery, and the Red Wings are picking like 9th or something.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous, and it's not just 1 year; it's every year for the Red Wings at least. And mathematically, how is that even possible? The odds are so low that they would just move back or stay what their pick is at every single year. It sucks. They're in the basement of the NHL, and they can't climb up because they cannot get a decent lottery pick. So yeah, I'm mad. That's it. And I feel like I gotta place my anger somewhere, and I'm putting it squarely on the NHL and the NBA. Even though if I don't maybe truly believe in my head that they're rigged, they are rigged. It's the 100% truth.
So if you guys remember the title of this segment, it was the Pistons hire Monty Williams. That turned into like probably a 20-minute rant on how the NBA is rigged.
I'm so sorry.
NHL is rigged. Detroit can't have anything. All right, which is true. Which is true. That's fine.
The reason I brought us down this path is Monty Williams, heck of a hire. I do not care because I feel like there's nothing we can do, because if you can't get the players, like I honestly think he's going to improve them, but I just don't think that they're going to be like able to truly get over a hump. Like, yeah, we might be able to get playoff contention. That's kind of exciting.
You could be the best coach ever, but if you're coaching turds, you're not going to win. I'm not saying this Pistons team is full of turds, but I mean, there's some. And I like Monty Williams, but of all professional sports, basketball is up there with coaches doing the least.
Yes.
Especially come game time.
In the NBA. In college basketball,
I said,
I think
professional.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, baseball managers a little. Heck, maybe a little bit of hockey too. Hockey, you got line changes, like it's constant, so I take that back. But yeah, basketball coaches are cheerleaders mostly, and if you've got a star on the team, like they end up doing most of the coaching.
They're personality managers, really.
Yes. So I love Monty Williams. I'm a Pistons fan, so I'm cheering for him. I like the hire a lot. And giving a coach a ton of money doesn't hurt your salary cap, does it? So give them all the money you can. Like that, it does show that they're willing and trying. So I appreciate that. As we're talking sad things and just everything sucks, we've got two more teams to talk about that are in the gutters right now. But to tease the end, we didn't even have this in our outline, but we talked about it before. Something can happen to break curses. And I think we'll end this pod just kind of brainstorming just a little bit, just starting that conversation about potentially trying to break some of these curses. But we're not going to get there yet. So hang on to the end, and we might talk some curse breaking for these just teams that are... look at the Lions. They've been cursed. If the Lions do bad this year after the hype, there's no way they're not cursed. Anyways, do you guys want to move on to the next two teams, the next segment of teams that suck? You can say no, because I don't.
Yeah. This is just so depressing. Like, we need something.
Let's fire some people.
Well, I didn't quite mean that. There's just got to be something that can, like, lift spirits a little bit. I just feel like people are going to listen to this and just jump off a bridge.
All right, so we'll keep it. We got a fun comparison with these two teams that suck, but the two teams we're talking about, Michigan basketball and Michigan State football.
Who sucks worse?
Two teams that are in the gutter. And we're going to make it fun. Talking about, we're going to dissect it a little bit, which probably, but we got to talk about it. If you're on Twitter, Michigan Twitter is football glorious, basketball hell. So we're going to talk about the gutter a little bit for both Michigan State football and Michigan basketball. First, Michigan basketball. Cody just pulled up a tweet before we were talking about all the players over the last 2 years that Michigan has lost due to admissions or NIL.
And it's gone.
But I think we can list them.
There it is. Yeah, so, you said admissions and NIL. So you got, like, Nogel Eastern, Terrence Shannon Jr., Caleb Love, Hunter Dickinson, Olivier Nakamura, Papa Conte, and I'm sure probably more, honestly. But that's just in the past couple years. And so for as much hate as we give Juwan, it's got to be pretty tough being able to build a program when the combination of admissions and the inability to compete with other schools in the transfer portal literally takes away every promising player that you begin to bring to the program. It is just... It's crushing.
Yeah.
There's no other way for me to put it.
There is a delicate balance of coaches can pull a team up, but you also got to have players that are capable. And Juwan he can pull good players to the program. Like we've said in multiple podcasts, if this Michigan team had Terrence Shannon last year, different ball game. And this year, losing out on Caleb Love, which would have been really exciting to watch. He's just an exciting player. I think he probably would have brought some frustrations with him because he's known. Yeah, North Carolina fans were frustrated with him, but he's exciting, and he would have made this team that's going to be bad better.
You know what would have been great about Caleb Love? He would not have been Juwan's son.
Yes, yeah, and I was so excited to see that. Like, I wanted to see this shooter, this guy who's going to be like that star scorer, but within a team that doesn't just focus on, we're going to do it just to you. Yeah, I was excited to see a star shooter, not his son, on this team. And see how Juwan did. That would have been a good litmus test to see if Juwan could handle it and survive another year at Michigan.
Well, unfortunately, Juwan had a kind of similar attitude where he thought more highly of Caleb Love than just like he thought more highly of Jet than he should have, because apparently Caleb Love couldn't get into Michigan, and Juwan just assumed, hey, you can get in. Don't need to make sure you can get your classes to transfer over.
That's true.
No worries. It'll all work out.
This has happened so many times. You would think, like, are they not having this conversation in the slightest?
But it is a rat race.
How can you announce a commitment
to get these guys
if you haven't cleared it?
That's true, but like, there's probably all these. You're trying to beat out all these other teams that are fighting for these players too, and so any little thing
you can take
cutting the line
before you make it public. You can't let it get out that like committed with like the edit that he's got the jersey on, 100% committed to Michigan. Can't wait to get to Ann Arbor, and then like a month later, all right, actually gotta go to Arizona because I can't get into Michigan because admissions doesn't want anyone to get in who can help our athletics teams.
how does Twitter is batting like 1,000 on getting the jump on some of these things. Like, they called Papa Conte not making it through admissions. They called Caleb Love, like, things that were not even close to being, like, real public things yet. And somehow it trickles out. And they've all been pretty true lately. So keep your ear to the Twitter trail. And, because it's been pretty accurate lately. So if you hear rumblings, I'd get nervous quick.
Yep, they're all accurate and they're all bad.
Yeah.
It's never a good rumor.
Yeah. So, anyways, Michigan in the gutters. Do we want to break them down a little bit? Anything else about them being in the gutters, or like go on to comparing
Honestly,
Michigan State?
I'm ready to tell you how dead they are.
Like with your comparison?
Well, if you want to move on Michigan State, I don't want to mess up your flow.
We could just...
Well, Michigan State, just to preface, are in the gutters too. Losing their starting quarterback, their possibly all Big Ten wide receiver. They lost a lot and from a bad team already, and things aren't looking good. Tuck ain't coming right now. And as dark as Michigan Twitter is lately, Michigan State football, comparatively equally dark. We're going to talk about that. Which one's more dead? So, Brandon, it's always risky starting with Brandon.
Go for it.
But let's do it. Brand, tell us how dead they are.
So I just want to add a little bit more context for Michigan State. They recently, I just saw this today, this past weekend was a big visit weekend for them. It was a big weekend for Michigan as well with the recruits coming in. Apparently, over 50% of the scheduled recruits that were coming to Michigan State ghosted them and did not show up. That's a bad sign. If you are
real bad. What was that percentage?
If you're a recruit, it was more than 50% of the guys scheduled to show up.
Oh, man.
If you're a high schooler who is getting courted by these Power 5 level teams, an official visit is one of the greatest things I think that you can ever experience, because these guys are whining and dining you to try to get you to come. They're showing you the best the city has to offer. They're giving you the best food. You're getting treated like a celebrity for an entire weekend on their dime. And to not show up, even to a school that you have zero interest in, is crazy. Like, if you're committed 100%, you should take every official visit you can, because if you're a high-level recruit, yeah, you probably want to visit USC and go see what Los Angeles is all about and try out whatever the best steakhouse there is and whatever club you want to check out and what the campus is like. And it didn't change anything. It was amazing, but you still love, wherever you're committed. Then you're going to go over to Alabama and Florida, Miami, come up to Michigan, go wherever. You should use your officials, because you're going to be able to see the country and see it in a way you never, ever will unless you become a absolute multimillionaire. And even then, you might not live it up like you do on your official visits. Yeah, some of these schools, your official visits are things you don't even want to tell your parents about. It's crazy.
Yeah, Louisville.
Louisville, most SEC schools. It's crazy. Some of the stories I've heard about all these, recruiting staffers are taking these high schoolers to strip clubs, and I'm like, are you serious? But, whatever. That's apparently a good recruiting tool. So,
that's awful. Which schools?
It is awful. I certainly hope it's SEC. But you know what? It's college football. It probably happens a lot more than you even.
That's from a TV show for anybody that doesn't.
Take your official visits to Michigan. You're going to get a free burger.
Not anymore. You can't have that.
Taking you, actually, I was kind of. I'm a freak. I was following a little bit of what a recruit did this weekend, and they literally had. This is maybe not a big deal, but just kind of ridiculous. They went out for 2 breakfasts, like massive breakfasts
on the same day.
On the same day. Like, I just saw his tweets. He was like, breakfast at Ann's house, and then Then like a couple hours later, second breakfast at Michigan. Like each one was like a full plate, like eggs, waffles, bacon, and then the next one, like, chicken
someone's
and
in
waffles.
charge of that schedule, and they were like,
we're getting breakfast twice.
this guy probably tweeted like, I love breakfast. And they're like,
And that's what
we're doing two
I read the
breakfasts.
article. He is known for having massive breakfasts. And so they went out to breakfast twice.
Wow.
Once at the place that's most popular in Ann Arbor and once at campus. Like, these trips are tailored to what you're going to be
I'm just going to say,
desiring the most.
I would have loved that. I love breakfast.
Yeah, me too.
Massive breakfast. I want to know, like, can I get some really good breakfast around here?
I don't even want to see the locker rooms and the facilities. Just take me to breakfast all day long.
I'm in, coach, 100%. Go blue.
For some people, that's what it takes.
Oh,
I'm
man.
sorry. I'm getting us derailed every time
I
I
loved it,
speak.
though.
That's where my brain is at tonight. The point is, Michigan State can't even get guys to, take pictures with Mel Tucker right now, that was a big selling point a couple months back.
Yeah, get the cigars
are
and
not
the
looking
dogs.
To lose Peyton Thorne, which I think they're downplaying, I think it's a big deal personally. And obviously Keon Coleman, who I think is one of the best wide receivers in college football. I'm looking at a down season for them. So they're very mostly dead. My comparison for how dead Michigan State is, I am so sorry, guys. This is straight up like
It's okay.
existentially depressing. My comp for Michigan State football is the Great Barrier Reef. Recently, reports are that
No! What is this pod?
50 to 75% of the Great Barrier Reef has died.
Oh,
So
We're going
I
to
know,
need,
it's so
like,
bad.
a sensitivity
We'll have some
warning
group therapy
on the beginning of this
Yeah.
pod. Like, hey, if you're struggling, like, if you're going through some stuff, maybe pause this pod.
skip this
Schedule it for a later date,
the reason I picked
Go hug
the
somebody.
Great Barrier Reef is because it is not all the way dead. And I truly believe that Michigan State football is not all the way dead, it's just mostly dead. Kind of like in The Princess Bride, you
Yeah.
can bring them back. And I don't know
Hope that
if
wasn't
the
what you
Great
picked.
Barrier Reef
Wesley.
can
That's
be brought
good.
back or not, but it's still got a pulse. And Michigan State with Mel Tucker, they're not going to fire him because they would owe him like something like $85 million he just has the 1 year that they paid him this new contract. So there's no way they're buying that out, and they're going to be patient. He has recruited pretty well, and I think that even though they're down right now, I think they can still get back to respectability. And who knows, maybe Noah Kim will be Noah Him. So I think
does
they're
work
just
really
mostly
well.
dead. I am expecting a down season, but not necessarily that they're going to be down and out forever. So Great Barrier Reef, mostly dead, just like Michigan State football.
Yeah, I think they're dead. For for the sake of time, I think Michigan State football is basic. They're dead. And I gotta just stick to that because my comp for Michigan State football is Bing Bong from Inside Out.
No!
Yeah, you thought you were going to a dark place. Bing Bong. Yeah.
what is this?
Yeah, so for those of you who maybe it's been a minute since you've watched the Disney Emotions movie, Bing Bong was an old childhood imaginary friend of Riley. Riley's not even the protagonist. Joy's the protagonist, but Joy is an emotion inside Riley. It's all complex. But Bing Bong is just hanging on by a thread. Little memory in Riley's childhood, and he and Joy are down in the pits of just forgotten memories. And he sacrifices himself so that Joy can get out and make sure that Riley still has joy in her life. And then as
Take
she's
her to the moon for me.
take her to the moon for me. Oh my gosh. Hero. He's dead now. And here's the thing. Even though Bing Bong is no longer present in Riley's memory, he's still present in Joy's memory. And so he survives on through Joy. So there may be some Spartan fans out there who remember that glorious year where he and mainly Kenny Walker, led Michigan State to glory in 2021. But I, along with a lot of other people out there, just don't see it. I think football compared to basketball, when you start a turn downward, it's a lot harder to right the ship. I think it takes a lot more time to rebuild in football than it does in basketball. And when you start to see this many red flags and the ship starts taking on water, it doesn't matter how much you keep chopping to patch up those holes. You're going down, and it's going to take a long time to right that ship. With basketball, I mean, football has the transfer portal too, but there's so many other positions. It's just so much deeper. Michigan's in a really bad place, and I don't know what it's going to take to get them better. They're looking pretty bad, but I just think, just by a comparison of sports, it's going to be so much tougher to be in East Lansing than it is in Ann Arbor. Both terrible, but I mean, like, in a comparison of how much time to rebuild, it's looking like a pretty dark place in East Lansing.
Michigan State is the White Rhino. No, I just was going dark like you guys. I'm not. That's not actually.
Wait. What is that?
Almost extinct.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a character.
No,
like from Land Before Time or something.
I thought the White Rhino was extinct.
I think it's still holding on, but that's not actually. You guys just went so sad and dark that I felt I had to step up my game. I'm going Knight's Tale, the great movie Knight's Tale. William Thatcher's father, who has leprosy. Just like you talked about the recruiting trip, no one wants to touch him right now. You can't, and eventually he dies. And this Michigan State team, it feels like they're treading towards death. But I think there's hope, like, kind of tucked in there. And William Thatcher's dad, they had a beautiful reunion where there was some hope. There's still nuggets of hope in there. But ultimately, I do feel like things are not going well and won't go well this year. And leprosy ended in death. And I think it might for Michigan State football, too.
Well, if we can go darker than that for our Michigan comparisons, then I'll be surprised and impressed. But I feel like that kind of is a little bit telling on which way we're all leaning.
Trav, I looked up the White Rhino. There are 2 White Rhinos remaining.
Only 2?
They are both female.
No! I didn't know that.
Throw it in the water.
Is functionally extinct.
Can they breed it with other rhinos?
I don't know.
Like, I know it won't be the same,
a hybrid, yeah.
but it at least would kind of carry on.
I guess there's a southern white rhino, but the northern white rhino is extinct.
They're totally different rhinos?
Well, the one has an accent. Thanks for laughing. That was bad.
Yeah, I liked it, though.
Oh, appreciate you. That's so depressing.
I didn't know that. I knew they were struggling, but I didn't know
Thanks,
that.
Trev. You started us off with a Great Barrier Reef.
All right.
I apologize. It was the only thing I could think of.
Let's just keep going. Bran, hit us with your Michigan basketball.
Okay. Michigan basketball is the fossil of the T-Rex. The fossil because it is completely dead. The T-Rex because it once was a great, powerful beast. Oh. And under John Beilein, he had created an absolute monster of a basketball program. Could be spoken among the elite. You look at the wins in March, right up there with the Gonzagas, the Kansas, the Dukes, above some of those teams. Just was missing the national championship, which seemingly would have come any time now. A couple bad bounces here or there, bad draws, but awesome basketball program. Juwan takes over, and it seemed like it started off pretty strong. We get the Big Ten championship, get the Elite Eight appearance, but it has gone down quickly, and with the way that it doesn't seem like he has any support from administration, whether it be NIL, whether it be admissions. He can't get the players, and he's not a good enough coach to coach bad players. He's not a great X's and O's guy. We haven't seen him develop low recruited players, so I don't have high expectations for, like, we'll say a Will Cheddar to become a really good player. He could probably, fill his role, but not good enough. And I think that the program is just like the White Rhinos that Trav mentioned, functionally extinct in that it's alive right now, but it's dead. And that's where I'm at with Michigan basketball. I don't expect anything from them next year. And Juwan is no longer recruiting well, so I can't really expect a lot of things going in the years to come. So, yep, extinct.
That was powerful.
That's pretty dead.
That's fully dead.
Yeah. So I'll just go ahead right into my comparison. For me, Michigan basketball is Shadow from Homeward Bound. And so so yeah,
Peter.
For those of you who are not affiliated, Homeward Bound is a movie. Travis that hit him good. Homeward Bound is a movie about these animals who are all in the same family. There's 3 kids. Each of them has their own animal.
Sassy
Shadow. Cat, Chance, the boxer dog, and then Shadow, the older golden retriever, kind of the leader of the group. And Shadow, once just a beautiful, shiny golden retriever, now is pretty gray and like slow and old. Bones hurt. Dog's barely kicking. And at the very end of the movie, they are trying to get home. They're nearly home, and they all fall into this mud pit. And, Sassy Cat's pretty agile, gets out of the mud pit pretty easily. Chance is gritty. He's young. He gets out of the mud pit. But then you look and you see Shadow. And Shadow's down there just trying his best, but he just can't get out of the mud pit. And, at the very end of the movie, you see the animals coming back. You see Sassy, and you see Chance, and you don't see Shadow. And in this version, he was too old. He's just too old. And in this version, this is the bootleg version of Homeward Bound, and it got cut off a little bit short, and that's where the movie ends. Shadow was too old. He couldn't make it out of the mud pit.
That's too old.
He really was just too old. And then end credits. Actually, not even end credits. You don't even get like the music. It's just over, and you can kind of see your reflection in the TV.
Silent.
It's
credits.
silent. It's like that's it. That's the ending. If anybody needs that little bit of positivity, he does make it out of the pit.
It did.
He did make it out of the pit. There are other Homeward Bounds. I haven't watched him. He probably dies then because he's a fossil. I don't actually know, and I purposely didn't look it up. I didn't want to know, but I think he's that close. And so close that I think he's more the bootleg version where he just doesn't make it out of the pit. There wasn't enough time to show that he survived that encounter. So, once a beautiful golden retriever, now just staring defeat and his demise right in the face.
I hated that.
Yeah, I thought you might.
But now it's my turn, and it's still dark. This isn't where I thought I was going to go, but one of the thoughts I had with Michigan's admission and the NIL just making Michigan potential players disappear like that, I think of Thanos and the snap. Just Michigan admissions is the glove, and NIL is all the Infinity Stones. And when they snap, players disappear from the program. But I'm not going to go with that one.
But it's not half the players; it's all of them.
I'm going to go.
It's the
I'm going to
worst
give you guys
timeline.
I'm going to give you guys a clue. This is going to be stretching. I'm going to say a quote from this movie, and you tell me which movie it's from. This is where my How Dead Michigan's coming from. So the quote is, Mother, where are you, Mother?
Is that Land Before Time?
Land Before Time.
Oh,
Littlefoot
she's super
looking
dead.
for his long neck mom.
Yeah.
Up there with Fox and the Hound is one
And
of the
Bambi.
saddest movies. I thought about talking about Todd's mom from Fox and the Hound, but I'm going with Littlefoot's mother.
What is it with Disney and just ruthlessly killing mothers?
The music in Fox and the Hound makes me cry every time.
It's good.
Like, I can't.
It's good.
It's so sad.
Just parental figures in general, I guess.
I don't know if they're that dead, though. Because, like you said, Code, I think basketball's a little bit easier to rebuild. And Michigan has been that close to getting good players every offseason. And it just takes a little bit of change from... And Michigan football's proven that they are willing to do the changes with NIL. Is admissions willing? And I don't know. I don't think so right now, but it's possible. When you've got a president with
I
Santa...
don't think it is.
who wants athletics to succeed, and he's a huge fan. When your president's fighting for your athletics, maybe there's something that can happen. If something happens with admissions and they start allowing, then I think there's some life. And then I think it's more like when the old lady drops Todd off in Fox and the Hound, and it's the saddest moment ever, but there's still hope. Todd's still alive, the old lady's still alive, but they're just separate and sad, and it's a hopeless moment, which is what we're in, but the ending can still come at a happy place if those changes happen. If not, it's Thanos snapping and these players just aren't going to come. They'll try to come.
There's a reason that you don't really see, like, I don't want to say high-level transfers, but just any transfer going to academic elite schools. Notre Dame's going to have these same issues. And Michigan is just in the spotlight because, well, one, apparently they don't understand their own admissions tactics enough to have a conversation before you announce it that you signed this player. But also, they're constantly competing at the top. Or even in basketball, they're at least in the spotlight because people love to see them fail. But, Michigan gets a lot of attention. And so when it doesn't work out, or when you claim that you've committed somebody that isn't going to make it to the program, of course, is going to make that news. But that's not an entirely uncommon thing for schools like that are really high up and have high academic standards to not allow people who wouldn't be able to be a student to be a student athlete. It's not entirely uncommon. I think it's just way more in the news because it's Michigan and because, for whatever reason, Michigan never learns. So that's straight up embarrassing. But I don't see it as something that's going to change because, like I said, it's just pretty common. Like, it's common where I work. There are rules that have been in place for so long. It would just, I don't know what it would take to change it. Maybe it's coming from a place of just not being familiar, but I don't think it would be easy in the slightest.
Well,
I don't know. What I've learned in my time here on Earth is that rules only apply to the people you want them to apply to.
Yeah, it's true.
Anywhere. I mean, if you're the president, if you're the president of a university, if you're a high-level athlete, rules are for scrubs, basically. So,
one of my favorite new shows, it's on Paramount Plus, is Mayor of Kingstown, which pretty much takes place around Detroit. It's Jeremy Renner is the main guy. I think you guys would love it. But he's just this, he's not a cop, but he kind of plays the middleman for these inmates and gangs and cops and kind of runs the whole town. It's a great show, but the rules don't apply to him. And it's no real point of me telling you this other than I think you'd love the show. You should try it out. It's pretty gritty, but it's a good one. And it's Jeremy Renner, and he's a baller.
Do love Jeremy Renner.
My wife really enjoys Chicago PD. And in Chicago PD, the cops literally will beat the crap out of the criminals almost every episode.
Are they trying to desensitize us to just police brutality?
Are they cops the good guys in that show, right?
Oh, they are 100% the good guys. But they have to get the information or else they'll walk free. So it's, greater good type stuff going on. But rules don't really apply to them. And I know people are going to say it's a show, but I'm just saying. Just saying.
I've been watching through all the Fast and Furious movies lately, too. Now that number 10 has come out. And Paul Walker would have been a good one with his character in episode 7 where they ride off and the sad songs playing. I thought about using that, but didn't feel like it. Rules don't apply there either. Makes for good TV.
Like the rules
not
of
for
physics?
good. That laws, shooting
okay.
people, stealing things. Like they'll be on the Interpol's Most Wanted one episode, and then they'll help Interpol the next movie, and they'll get all their sins wiped away. Help us catch this guy, and you guys are clean. It's pretty fun. Do you guys want to end with just a little bit of uplifting of
Sure.
curse lifting talk?
I'm curious to hear what you have to share about this, because I was looking up before the pod, like, how can you break a curse? And everything I found sucked. Is like, you could take a bath with some rosemary, or surround yourself with some mirrors to reflect the negative energy or the hex that somebody's putting on
At
you.
yourself.
No.
And then you say Bloody
you
Mary
reflect it
3
outwards.
times?
No. Or it was just straight up like incantations, which is like, yeah, probably not that.
Have you guys ever done the Bloody Mary in the mirror?
No.
Yeah, it didn't work.
I can't do it 3 times. I know it's not real, but I can't do it. Like, not worth the risk.
Brandon, have you done it?
Yeah.
Did you say it like they do? Like, Bloody Mary. Like, try and...
No. I didn't know that you had to say it a certain way.
Did you have the lights off?
Yes. Do
Wow,
you have
you're so
to say
brave.
it like
I don't know.
in Pirates of the Caribbean when they had to release what's her name? She's a goddess. They said the words, but you had to say it as if to a lover, because when Captain Barbossa said the words, it didn't work. So maybe I was just saying it wrong.
Wow, good poll. That's probably it. So you have to say Bloody Mary like
Calypso. Good poll.
you have to say Bloody Mary like a lover.
Bloody Mary like a lover. Bloody Mary like a... One time I woke up...
release you from your human bonds.
One time I woke up in this Airbnb that was an old Airbnb. Creepy. I was in a bedroom all by myself, and I woke up in the middle of the night because I thought someone spanked my butt. And I jumped, looked around, no one was in the room.
You had a ghost B&B.
Yeah, so I either ghost spanked my butt, or I just had a butt spasm in the middle of the night. But scared the crap out of me.
Do
I
you
thought a
often
ghost
have
spanked
butt
me.
spasms?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. I've never had that happen.
You got spanked by a ghost then?
I think I got spanked by a ghost. So.
Did you like it?
Once I felt safe.
All right, Chad, where were you going to take us?
This is ending on a nice positive note.
Well, we've talked off pod about us going live sometime in the future, trying to do some curse breaking for our Detroit teams that we love who are just cursed. Peyton Manning did it, and he might have succeeded with the Lions.
I think he weakened the seal.
But I think there's still more to be done.
I don't think it's completely broken.
Well,
I think
we need to do it.
he laid the
was
groundwork.
specifically for the Lions, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
We need the entire city of Detroit.
Yeah.
Hey, sprinkle in some East Lansing for our Spartan friends and Michigan basketball.
So is it just
do we just
Michigan?
do it over the state of Michigan?
Because Michigan
I can't.
is kind of cursed in its own right. Like U of M, not just basketball.
I can't tell you what I think we need to do. I'll tell
Why?
you later. Trav
Okay.
asked about crimes that we could get away with.
No, I didn't. You gave no context to that, and now on the pod you go, Trav's talking about crimes. This is on YouTube, Brad. Give context. Jeez.
There goes our
You're
monetization.
welcome to do that.
Explaining it doesn't
But
help
Cody-
much.
No. Cody, go ahead. I don't mean to interrupt you. I gotta tell you guys later.
I don't got nothing. I'm just waiting to
There's
hear
a
what
way
you were
to
going to
break
say.
the curse, but I can't say it.
So I think there are ways.
Okay.
I'm not saying I have an answer yet, but if you're listening to this still, I want us to try. Because this sadness has its moments, There's a time and place for everything, but it needs to stop, and we need to find that joy. If a team just sucks because they suck, great. But if they're cursed like the Lions and the Red Wings lately, we need to do all we
Tigers.
can to break. Yes.
Tigers are cursed.
So, if you guys know of something good, let us know. Tweet at us, call us, let us know your curse-breaking process, and we may try it. We're thinking about going live in a week or so, week 2, whenever we figure out what we want to do and if it's doable, to try and break these curses. So, let us know, because I'm excited to try.
We're going to go live from the hot tub? Just pour a bunch of rosemary in there?
Yep, if that's what we do. That'd actually be kind of dope. That's kind of like the thing to do for those TikTok
Yeah, we could be hot tub
influencers.
streamers.
I know zero about curses, but I feel like something has to burn.
Us. We are the sacrifice. In the hot tub. You know.
Yeah, at
I feel like
precisely
it wasn't that much of a
101
stress.
degrees
Stretch.
of water. Yeah, so that's it for the curse talk. Let us know if you got something. 'Cause
Maybe
I want to do this.
maybe we burn up some food in like a big old barbecue cookout.
Did you learn nothing from Cain and Abel?
No.
You can't offer an offering of... Oh, yeah,
Is this-
food was the right option. Right?
Did you learn nothing from Cain and Abel? I don't think this is an offering to God.
That's true. Oh, man. Well, Code, I think...
We have a long way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not close.
So help
we
us.
need all the help that we can get.
This will be a team effort, everyone.
We need you. The city of Detroit needs you. The state of Michigan needs you. I need you. All right, see you guys.
That was a good sign-off.
That's sexy.
I just wanted that to linger.